All right, thank you, Victoria. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about our new platform, our new release of our platform, our Vision One Endpoint Security. I have a couple slides and then we'll go straight to the demo. We start looking at Vision One with our endpoint security release. We're starting to really unify all of our different solutions, our workload security, our Apex One, simplify the user experience now with all those different inventory or all those different endpoints, all those different workloads now funneling into one console so that now you're able to start really diving in and reducing those different silos across those security layers, improving that analyst experience, giving you more broader visibility and connected workflows now. And then we're standardizing our platforms. We're now policy management, licensing, accessing, all those different key features that you need are in one console now. So when we look at our whole ecosystem, we have obviously our email security, network security, cloud security. But the first step now is really consolidating our endpoint and our workload security. So as you can see in the consoles here in just a second, you can see that kind of going into play. So 1 second here, let me close this out. And now we can start kind of diving in. So when we first look at Vision One, again, you're still presented with the risk index or the executive dashboard, which is a great tool to use because now you're able to quickly see how your company is doing, how your enterprise is doing on a visual sense. See what the evolution of your risk score is. And this risk score comprises of your different devices. So how many different CVEs are in those different devices? Looking at your internet-facing assets, see how many misconfigurations there might be with your root domains. Your accounts now, looking at weak authentication, maybe multi-factor isn't enabled. Maybe there's some accounts that are a little bit more overly privileged that shouldn't be, all the way to your different cloud apps that your employees are using, and then your different cloud applications, things that are being built in AWS. Maybe there's some misconfigurations in there. Maybe there's some compliance violations and so forth. So with all those different things, they get computed in a nice equation that's built in-house. And now we're able to present you with that risk index score, which is something that I really gravitate towards because this is something that I can bring into leadership and say, all right, we're seeing these types of activities, we're seeing these types of vulnerabilities, and this is what's increasing our risk score. So it gives you a nice justification on what you're doing in security as a whole. So let's really start diving into all the new features within endpoint security. So when we look at the workbenches, you're able to get that connected feel and can really understand what's happening. And through the Vision One endpoint security, you have the functionality of Companion, which is awesome. Companion is a large language generative AI model or AI engine built into Vision One endpoint security now, where now you can easily just type in a question on what this workbench is doing. So as we do this, now you're able to have the AI help you kind of understand what's really happening within this workbench, what's really there, making the analysts more effective at their job, more productive. As you can see here, this is just a reptile rootkit being downloaded. You might ask, oh, okay, well, what's reptile rootkit? Well, we can ask that. So now your analyst can spend more time in the console, spend more time triaging, and be able to just really quickly understand what's really happening here. Then as we dive a little further, you can do all those response actions that we had before. You can right click and you're able to do response actions from there. You're able to isolate the endpoint, able to disable the user, reset their passwords, and do all those different things all in one console that your security analysts are already doing. Then as we go a little further, we have what we call the forensics and analysis feature that's released. So think of this as like a war room investigation tool, where now when we go into here, you can start collecting different things from the endpoint or workload. Maybe run some OS queries, or maybe run some Yara rules based on what we're finding. I have a sample here that I was running where now I have OS version. I have interfaces on that machine itself. I have system information, volume information, what type of scheduled tasks there are. And all this is done all within the console itself. So no need to have to go into another dashboard, another tooling set, another process, because it's all built within Vision One now, which is again awesome, because now we're increasing the benefits within Vision One in making the analyst experience a lot better, a lot easier to navigate now. So, like I said, you can run an OS query very easily here and be able to just get the more minute data sets within that endpoint itself. Then as we go further, when we've consolidated all those different dashboards that we have, your endpoint dashboard, your workload and security workload security dashboard, now you have a better, clear and concise inventory screen, so that now you don't have to go to different consoles to get inventory for your servers or workloads. You don't have to go to a different console to go get your endpoint information. Now it's all within one screen now. So you can see here, I can see all my different instances for my workloads, and be able to filter in and see what's happening or what inventory there is there. I'm able to filter in and see what types of machines are in my standard endpoint protection, my Apex One, and be able to kind of be able to understand kind of what's in those different tenants there. When I click into here, now I'm able to see what policy it's in, what types of if the agent is on, what types of modules that are enabled for this machine. So I get a quicker glance on what's really happening within this machine. Then as I go further on the left-hand side here, I'm able to see what types of issues I have. Maybe I can click into here and see the different recommendations. Maybe there's a sensor that needs to be deployed. Maybe there needs to be some different things happening within here. Now, again, I don't have to go to a different dashboard. I don't have to spend time logging in and trying to figure out what's really going on. I can do it all from this console here. Mass deployment or response actions can be done here, where let's say I want to start isolating machines on a quicker sense. I can multi-select. Now I can run the isolate endpoint action. So now I can isolate multiple machines. I can run custom scripts within here. I can start deploying out different sensors from here. So the ease of use, the mean time to respond, mean time to detect is reduced because of all this great tooling set that was released not too long ago. Then as we go into the agent installer, I can choose the right agent for the right endpoint at the right time, where now I can just select from here where I need these certain agents to go. And now I'm able to download that agent and deploy that on a quicker sense now. So reducing that time to really just dive into the platform itself. And as I go into the consoles, you're presented with the similar look and feel as before, where this is going to be your Apex One console. So thus reducing the need to have to log in. You're able to go into here and look at your Cloud One workload security. And then you're able to change those different tenants too. So if you have different tenants for maybe your different locations, maybe different companies that you're managing, now you're able to change on a quicker sense without having to really go outside of the console to be able to deploy those policies, maybe look a little deeper into those machines. So this right here, with me being a former customer, I had those different dashboards, and this was a pain point for me, because I had those different dashboards. I had to go look at my server dashboards. I had to look at my endpoint protection dashboards. Now it's all built into one, so that just easier, less time spent logging in, more time spent really understanding what's happening within the environment. And again, with those recommended actions, you can see here, I can just easily go in and say, all right, so there's something that there needs to be happening, or that needs to happen with the sensor itself. I can just quickly download that installer and now be able to deploy out the sensor itself. And on the left-hand side, you're able to get a quicker sense on what's happening or what's really in your environment. I can see that there's 6 endpoints that I need to manage or that are unmanaged. There's 49 different sensors or items here that are disabled. So now I can quickly say, all right, well, if those sensors are disabled, I can quickly just go and enable the sensors and deploy out that policy. So it gives you a quicker way to really manage your machines rather than having to do this the old way, the more traditional way. And let's go back to the workbench here. So when we go actually the search. So when we go to the search, Companion is there to help you figure out what you want to do. So let's say let's do an easier one here where we want to look at the destination port. So a port 80. So with this, you're able to use our AI Companion to help you search on all those different fields. So now it gave us a search query that we can use. So now this will pop up and help your analyst be able to figure out kind of what's happening on port 80. So you can see here all those different things there, and you can use AI, or you can use the Companion to be able to explain different commands too, which is great because there's a lot of data, there's a lot of things happening within your environments. Maybe you don't know what some of these flags are, maybe you don't know what some of these different commands are. Why not use Companion to help you out and help you kind of understand what's happening in your environment. And let's go back to the endpoint inventory here. I like this page here. Live demos are fun, but of course. So again, this is really cool for me to see all these different consoles being put into one, because this was a huge pain point for my team when I was on the customer side. Where now I have my different trees for all my different groups within my endpoints here, so that I can quickly just go and say, all right, let's take a look at these groups, and we can see kind of what's really going on with these groups. Maybe I can make different groups within here. So let's say I want to make a different group or rename these groups, I can. And then be able to kind of take that administration below all within those different consoles and funnel them up into one central location now. And then when I look at all those different product instances, maybe I want to spin up a different one. Very easy to spin up now, where I can just go in and put in, maybe let's do a Europe one. Let's select the United States. Or now I can just go in here and spin up those different instances, so I can maybe do testing. Maybe this is for a different data locate or a different location that you guys are, or that your company might be spinning up. Without having to go into different consoles, I can do it all from one and be able to be quicker at my job, be more efficient, be more productive within the security realm. All right, so yeah, there's a lot of new functionality coming into here, which is honestly great, because again, one of the biggest things that I had issues with, or a pain point within my environment on the customer side, was how to do that mass actions or mass response actions within there. Now I can do it all from one, or do it all from one screen. I can even go into here and filter by all those different things. Maybe I want to filter by IP address. Maybe I want to look at OS names, or maybe some different things within the GUIDs. I can do it right from here. I can change all these different tabs, so that now maybe I want to look at to see what kind of what the isolation process is. I can change that group, and now it'll show up in this column here. So very cool functionality there. And as I go into the global settings, I'm able to change different things within those different policy, or within those different tenants. Maybe I might want to change proxy settings within here. I can change it per instance, per workload security or server and workload protection manager. instance, or maybe I want to change it in my endpoint manager instance, all from one screen here. I can look at the server set or the sensor settings and be able to remove all those inactive agents. Maybe I have a VDI set up where now I can quickly get rid of or remove those VDI sessions within a day, maybe 10 days, 20 days, all the way up to 100 days now. And then maybe set sensor bandwidth, download bandwidth throttling, all from this one console. All right, so that's gonna be the quick and easy demo of Vision One Endpoint Security. Victoria, back to you for some Q&A.
Oh, very great presentation, Tom. Thank you. I have a lot of questions pouring in. And please, I would like to advise that you send your questions, submit it in a Q&A box and not a chat box, so that it will be easy for us to sort through the questions, because I can see a lot of questions in chat as well. So the first person is asking why Trend Micro is using so many consoles, which I believe, which actually is no longer the fact. So why is Trend Micro using a lot of console, Control Manager, Apex One, Apex Central, and now Vision One for Trend Micro endpoint protection?
So with that question, this is our goal to reduce those consoles. So Vision One Endpoint Security is now the combination of all those different consoles. So Control Manager, Apex One, Apex Central is now in one console. So as you can see with our standard endpoint protection, I know what you're based on your question here. Now all those consoles that you mentioned now become one. Now you have the policy migrate or the policy deployment all within this console here. So now you have your Apex One console alongside within Vision One. So now you're getting your data telemetry and your detection data all within one console here.
Great. Another person is asking, would it give information? I want to believe he meant, would V1ES give information on whether the agent was turned off and which account did that? Credential theft is a tactic used by malicious actors, and they routinely turn off security agents in order to plant malware on a device.
With the Vision One endpoint
Give information, okay.
So with this one, it'll give you, if we have detection rules based on if the agent was turned off. Let's go here real quick. So let me go in here. Let's see this. Can't find it. Oh, here it is, right here. So we do have detection models for disabling antivirus software. So if there was a script that was ran, we will record on on what user, what account was being used to disable that. We're able to see that script being ran, or maybe some registry keys that might be being altered to try to evade the endpoint protection software. So yes, we have protections against credential theft, and we actually will look at kind of the back end and see what account, what process, and what things are being used to try to disable or use credential theft within the machines.
So someone from Brazil is saying that he can't see Companion and the new inventory app. He says my login URL is different from your view, and when I tried to open with your URL, my sign-in request doesn't complete. Is this available globally already? The V1ES and Companion, I believe. So
for Vision One Endpoint Security, July 3 was the release date for, I believe, EMEA. July 10 is going to be South America, North America. So you might not see it quite yet, but it is coming soon. For Companion, when you do have this console, when you go into the search or the workbench, it should prompt you to say if you want to enable Companion.
Thank you. There is another one. Is it possible filtering or applying policies based on Active Directory OUs?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So let's go into the policy here for the standard endpoint protection. So when we create the policy, you're able to specify the target, specify the criteria. This is I don't have that set up, but you're able to do that from the console itself. Yes.
Okay. Does Vision One and Vision One Endpoint Security have multi-tenancy like how Cloud One Workload Security has?
Yep, absolutely. So what I was showing you before, with all these different tenants here, let's just pop this to server and workload protection. So when we look at all these different tenants, think of these as different workload security tenants. So for this instance here, I have a EU, I have a US, and a couple different other tenants on here. So we can link up all those different workload security tenants and be able to limit that based on roles. So let me pop up a role here. I'll just make one. So when we look at, it's all right. When we look at the different roles, now I'm able to limit those roles to see all those different instances. So very easy to say, I don't want this user or this role to have my EU instances, and just be able to see just my US instances.
Thank you. Is there any limits to create groups in Vision One? How many subgroups can I be able to create?
So the subgroups, I haven't seen a limit. You can basically just go into each one of these instances and be able to create different groups from there. Yeah, I haven't seen a hard limit on that one. I can find that out.
Okay. When are we going to get the new endpoint inventory functionality? Looking forward to it.
So this one for the customers that are in the North America region and South America region, this is going to be available for you to upgrade on July 10th. For those in, let's say, EMEA region, so Australia, Asia, and all that, that has already been released on July 3. And then I believe Japanese customers are a little later on that.
Great. Will there be a migration from current Apex One SaaS and Cloud One Endpoint Security to the new Vision One Endpoint Security?
Yep, so there will be an upgrade process. When your main user logs into Vision One, they'll be presented with a banner. You'll be presented with a banner for an upgrade. The upgrade will walk you through the different steps that you'll need to take, which is pretty simple. Once that upgrade happens, it takes a few moments, and then you'll be presented with the new endpoint inventory screen and your consolidated consoles.
Great. The bulk activation process will it cost us the same 20 credits for XDR sensor?
That's correct. It will still cost that 20 credits.
And okay, this question has been answered already. Whether migration will be required for Cloud One Workload Security, answered.
So the upgrade isn't necessarily required. So if you do want to continue working with those separate consoles, you can. The upgrade, obviously, it's your it'll prompt you, the admin, for an upgrade, but you can obviously wait. You can say not now, or you can say later, depending on your use case, depending on your choice.
Okay, so this person is asking a follow-up question to know what the steps are for the upgrade or the migration.
The steps are pretty easy. Like I said, there's an update prompt that will show up within Vision One. It should show up right when you first log on. It's a blue banner that'll say, they'll say something of the effect of click here to upgrade. When you do that, there'll be a couple steps that you'll have to look at. It will explain kind of what will happen, and then you'll just hit update, and then the update process will follow. I can follow up with an email for you too, so that I can explain it a little bit better.
Is the new Windows endpoint sensor natively 64 bits now or soon? It's saying current XDR Basecamp is 32-bit only.
I can check back on that one. But oh, actually, right here. So the endpoint sensor will have either 32 or 64-bit. like you can see on my screen right here.
Cool. Will Vision One Endpoint Security have multiple agents, like how Apex One SaaS has Apex One Security Agent and Basecamp Agent?
Well, you can see on my screen here, you can pick between those different agents, where if you want something that has more DLP protection, you can pick the standard endpoint protection. If you want a server and workload protection, maybe for your Linux machines, your AIX or Solaris, you're able to select from here. Or maybe if you want just data telemetry itself, without protection, you can use the endpoint sensor. So there'll be more feature enhancements within the agents coming soon. But the goal of Vision One Endpoint Security is to consolidate those consoles. So you'll start seeing some more enhancements, some more benefits, feature upgrades coming to the agents in the near future.
Cool. When is the release date for APAC APAC?
I'd have to check back on that one, but I believe it's very soon. It's very soon, as in probably the next couple weeks here.
Yeah, this person is asking that response actions currently returns one result per machine, not one result per action. Will this update fix that?
So might have to elaborate on that one. So basically, like I was showing you here, you can do response actions based on just one, but you can also do response actions on multiple. So if you start selecting all these different endpoints here, you can see that I can still have the isolate endpoint action. Maybe I want to run remote scripts from here, or I can deploy out the different policies or the different endpoint or the endpoint sensor from here.
Good. We have a few more questions to go. So will there be any deployment scripts like we do with Cloud One Workload Security? And when will the new V1 APIs be available to support the new changes?
The new Vision One API should be available now. The endpoint or the deployment scripts are moved a little bit. When you go into administration, you go to local, you have the deployment scripts here still. So that did not go away, just got moved.
We had the situation on Apex One where the policy deployment takes 1 hour or more. Will this change improve that time?
I think there's some tech or some backend enhancements that hopefully will take place that will help with that. Yeah, I would say we can table that one. Maybe we can look at table that, and I can reach out separately to kind of figure out what's going on there.
The previous Vision One console had a limit on the logic filters for groups, 8 conditions. Will this update remove that limitation?
That update will still will have that limitation, I believe. I would have to check on that one. That's a good question.
This person is asking if is this just integrated Trend Micro Apex One as a service with Vision One, or Apex One, is it built with Vision One?
So with the new endpoint, Vision One Endpoint Security, it is built in. It is built into the console itself. So when you go into the standard workload protection or endpoint protection, sorry, this is essentially your Apex One console within Vision One Endpoint Security.
With the new endpoint inventory, what are the criteria options for group creation? Can you search by GUID, that's GUID or application? For instance, if I have PCI DSS compliance endpoints that need their own group.
Yep. So you can search by GUID from here. You can see from here. I can do the specify the GUID ID. For that, I would say if you're using, let's say, the server and workload protection, you can make smart folders based on GUID, based on those different types of things.
I have 4 questions more to go, and I will just be fast about it. Are we going to be able to enforce the installation of the agent on Mac computers?
With the enforcement, I would say if you have a deployment manager or deployment tool, you can configure that to for enforcement. Obviously, Macs are fun because of permissions and all that, so you'll have to kind of do more of that backend work to allow the installation, but should be standard things there.
Will Apex One have to be migrated to Workload security, and will the policies have a conversion tool? I have many policies that would require a lot of changes.
We'll have to look at the use case on that one, but you still have the ability to use Apex One from here. Obviously, it's renamed to Endpoint Protection. The policy migration, there's a couple different things, a couple different elements within Apex One in the policies that are different in the server and workload protection, so workload security. So we'll have to you'll have to do a manual process on that one, but we can table that one. I can reach out separately on that one.
Yeah, I just wanted to inform us all that I'll be taking 3 more questions because of the time that we have. So you can use our community forum to submit all other questions that you have, because I can see that there are so many questions still pouring in. I'll put the link to the community forum in our follow-up email for you. So if you do a response action on multiple endpoints, e.g. run scripts, the results are returned separately for each machine. This is a problem when you run an action on 50+ endpoints. Will this update consolidate these results?
So it depends on the script that you have. When you do run those multiple scripts, you'll be able to see it. It's still in the response action or response management page. So if let's say you ran a script to collect some evidence or collect maybe a user group or something like that, they will show up in here as individual actions.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Hopefully that answered the question.
Hopefully. Is there any impact to the Apex One SaaS or workload security agents when the console is upgraded? That is, agent restart, pop-up notifications, prompts to restart, and etc. There's
no impact on the agents themselves. The consoles will flow into Vision One Endpoint Security. So during the time of upgrade, your analyst or your team might not have access to those consoles until the upgrade is complete.
For the licensing process, all the endpoints migrated will now be licensed per Vision One credits. What is going to happen with the licenses based on compute units?
There is a conversion process. I would reach out to your account team for that conversion. I'm not positive on that one.
And the last question I'll be taking is this: what features/abilities will customers lose after migrating to V1ES?
Honestly, there's no feature loss. I think there's feature gain just because now you have both consoles in one place. So no need to log into other consoles. You still have the protection from your Apex One. You're able to still connect into your product servers for Apex One. You're still able to do those minute changes that you might need to do based on tenants. And then you're able to gain, obviously, workload security here.